This is a voiceover recording due to me forgetting to actually turn on my microphone when I was doing this. So I'm going to be explaining everything that I was doing during this video through this voiceover. This particular session is me introducing her to a stuffed husky, which is what I use for our initial introductions to dogs, especially unfamiliar ones. And we are also doing some weight and reward method and a lot of verbal communication. Right now, I'm doing a whole bunch of talking that doesn't really matter because you can't really hear what I'm saying, but it's similar to what I'm saying now. In a couple seconds, I'm going to be walking up to her and actually starting our routine. But as you can see, she is up to a 1-minute sit stay with me standing right there, with her knowing what's about to come next. And with that being said, her sit stay time when she first got here was less than a second, and it took her upwards of 20 minutes to actually even go into a sit. Now we're at the point to where she will come right out of the crate, she'll do a spin move, and then she'll go right into a sit, which is absolutely fantastic and a beautiful thing, and I'm very, very happy that she's picked this up so fast, because it gives us more time to be able to do fun things, to be able to do training, to just let her be a dog. And that's what one of our main cruxes here is, just teaching dogs how to be dogs, and we do that with a lot of socialization. I am now about to get her out. She has held that sit stay for almost 2 minutes now. She did move a little bit to come, to the edge of the crate where I am, but I was also standing there for 2 minutes before I walked up there. So there was a lot of build-up, which is why it's taking a little bit longer right now to actually be in that sit position for at least 10 seconds. 10 seconds and not making any noise. And she was doing some squeaking. And as I let her out, I put her on the slip lead, close that, and then I'm just waiting for her to sit. And I'm moving that little grommet down so it doesn't slip up and move around. She does her spin move, and then boom, going into a sit. But that sit doesn't stay there very long. But this one, boom, held it even with the puppy right there making some noise, and then I give her the reward she wants to. She wants to jump up, she wants human attention, she wants human contact, so we're going to use that as a reward. Now, because I'm the only person to do the recording, I have to do a lot of resetting, so now I'm just turning the camera around to display our stuffed husky, who is named after our oldest husky who passed away last year, Malachi. So that's Mr. Malachi standing right there, and we're going to do the weight and reward method of loose leash walking to walk over there. That way we're keeping her calm and she's not at 100%, because introductions shouldn't be at 100%. They should be as calm as possible so that the other dog doesn't get too hyped up, so that Maggie doesn't get too hyped up, and then a situation occurs in which, a reactivity happens or some sort of aggression comes out because someone didn't pay attention to the other one's body language. So, and the closer we get to the husky puppy, the harder it gets for her to go into that sit position to keep it, which is understandable. Puppies are super distracting, and especially husky puppies, they're very dramatic. So now we took another step. She wants to go and see him. She's going to take a couple seconds to go into that sit, which is all okay. This is great, the fact that it takes her, less than a minute to go into these sit positions around these distracting environments. So she sat again. We're going to take another step. And I'm just taking one giant step and then waiting for her to go into a sit. So we're going to end up taking, I believe, 4 or 5 more of those, and we're going to circle around it so that she can go up and smell the fake dog's butt, and then be introduced to it. So I'm still just waiting for her to go into that sit, and then boom, she does. I make her hold it for at least 3 seconds, then we take another step, and then it resets itself. And the entire time I'm doing this, I'm not saying a word to her. The only time I am saying anything to her is when she does what I want her to, which is go into that sit position. And I say, good dog, and then we take another step. And then good dog, we take another step. So she's essentially getting rewarded twice. She's getting rewarded verbally, and then she's getting rewarded with that freedom to be able to take one more step. Freedom is one of the best rewards that you can give dogs because they really enjoy being able to do whatever they want to do. So, still waiting for her to go into that sit position. As soon as she does, we'll be able to take another step forward and to be able to continue on our way to getting her to be able to sniff the fake dog's butt. There's a sit. Now we're going to take another step. Wait for her to go into another sit again. Like I said, the time that it's taking for her to do this is more than acceptable. Our previous videos, it had her taking upwards of 20 minutes to just go into a simple sit position after getting out of the crate. And now, as you can tell, we're under, what I would say, under 30 seconds for the crate, and then we're about a minute to 2 minutes for these sort of scenarios, which, like I said, is way better than where she was when we first started. So, once again, I'm just waiting for her to go into that sit position, and then as soon as she does, I'm going to take another step forward. Boom, there it is. Good dog, and then we're taking another step. Boom. And then we're right there. Now she can sniff him, and the entire time she's doing that, I'm rewarding verbally. I'm letting her know, you're such a good dog, Maggie. That's great. That's wonderful. Good girl. Fantastic. But I'm keeping it short. So I let her sniff for a couple seconds, and then I call her back to me, give her some loving, and then we're going to take another step forward to let her do it again. And then that way it's slow and steady, and she's not going into a scenario at 100%, because not every scenario calls for a dog to be at 100%. And for that reason, I try and teach calm as much as possible, because if we can start a dog off calm and going into new scenarios, it's going to be easier to keep them calm than to try and go into a scenario with an already crazy dog who is already being reactive and can't find their chill button, and expect them to then be able to find their chill button in that situation. It's just not, necessarily fair to them. So, waiting for her to go into a sit again, and then we're going to then approach from the front. Boom, there was that sit again, but the puppy going up made her jump up, and then boom, she went back into it again. And then she broke herself from it, so like I said, I'm waiting for at least 3 seconds. Then we take a step forward, and we're rinsing and repeating what we were doing when we walk into the back, except we're doing it to the front now. Good dog, take another step forward. As you can tell, she's pulling a little bit more than she was when we first started, but this is also a very highly distracting situation. So we take another step, wait for her to go into that sit again. Boom. She got up, so we wait for her to do her spin move and to go back down. Wonderful. And at this point in our relationship, and how much I trust her responding to me, I can, usually now I will just say, Maggie, what do I need from you, when she is just standing, and she'll go into that sit and just look at me. And then at that point in time, then I reward her. Now, saying, Maggie, what do I need from you, that is not a command. That's not giving her any direction. That is asking her a question and hoping that she responds to that question by doing what we need, like going into that sit position, like right there. I'm going to take another step forward. Boom, she goes into a sit, take another step forward, and then let her sniff. And the entire time, yes, good girl, Maggie. You're doing wonderful. Wow, fantastic. And then when she jumps up, when I don't ask, grunts of disapproval, and she stops. And then she sits, and she's trying so hard to keep that sit. You can see her shaking. And then boom, she holds it for at least 3 seconds, and then she gets to get rewarded for it. And then we restart everything. at this point, I'm just waiting for her to go into that sit position, so then I could then take her off leash and see how she does, because she did so good on leash, with that leash being a barrier which stops her from just being able to do what she wants to. Because she passed with flying colors, I'm just waiting for her to go into that sit so then I can take her off leash. That way we can see how she interacts with the dog off leash and also how she interacts with the husky puppy that's right there. And throughout the entire time of me waiting for her, I didn't move at all. I stayed in that same position, that same, body mechanics, and was waiting for her to do what I needed for. I was waiting for her to do what I needed her to do, which is go into a simple sit, so I can take her off leash, and then we see what happens. Now that she's on leash, we're going to see how she does. So what I'm doing is I'm just interacting with the stuffed dog, trying to feed the stuffed dog at the same time I'm hand feeding her. That way, she's used to other dogs being hand fed right near her without trying to go for their food, right? So doing this with a fake dog is a lot easier because we all know the fake dog's not actually going to take that food. And if your fake dog does take that food, then you probably have a haunted doll, and you should definitely call someone about that. But when doing it around other dogs, like I'm about to do now, I'm just hand feeding both of them through the gate, right next to each other. That way, Miss Maggie gets used to that situation, so that when I'm outside working with her and we're doing recall games, while she's running around, she's more apt to be able to come back to me and to not get too feisty over another dog getting food, which with where she was beforehand, I definitely would have, bet that she would do that. But, throughout the two weeks, going on 3 weeks that, she's been here since this video was taken, she has made tremendous progress, which I'm very, very happy about. And now we're going to do some off-leash lure and reward training, and take one step at a time, lure her into a sit, she gets rewarded, making her hold it for at least 3 seconds before we go. And because she's been here long enough, I like to see how many times I can do something with the dog before they no longer respond to it, and that is what I call the response to reward ratio. So right now I can do about 1 to 2 before she needs to get rewarded. So there's 1, and then I'm waiting for her, not even saying anything, waiting for her. She goes into it, she gets rewarded. She circles around me, she goes into that sit again. And in a couple seconds, I'm about to step all over that water bowl, and it's going to go everywhere and scare her a little bit, and also startle me, so it's kind of funny. Now, as you can see, because the session has been going on for about 15 minutes now, her ability to stay focused on what we're trying to work on is diminishing. And that's about the time limit for most dogs when they first get here. Now, dogs that I've been working with for, 3 to 6 months, we can often do, 30 to 45 minute complete sessions of us doing something the entire time. But as fresh as a dog is, we take things slower. And right now, I'm just doing a little bit of a handling routine with her, just to see if there's any spots that she doesn't like to be touched more than others. And her body language and how she responds to me, is a big tale of that. As you can tell, though, she really just loves the fact that I'm just giving her physical affection at this point in time, which is a fantastic reward, and one that I definitely recommend people do a little bit more. Just differentiate it. Excuse me. Differentiate it when she does, or when they do something that you really, really, really are excited that they did. Make sure the reward matches that. Make sure you're loving up on them really heavily. If they did something that you like them to do, good dog, thank you. But when they do something exceptional, you go crazy. So at this point in time, now I'm seeing, how she's going to respond if I'm walking, the fake Mr. Malachi. And she's not too bothered by it at all, and look at that. She's licking his face. She's being very non-confrontational, just trying to check out that dog, and face licking and bowing. Those are all signs of a bit more of a submissive dog, or what I should say is a dog that is not aggressive. I don't like to just use the broad term submissive for certain things. All she is being is just friendly right now, which is what we want. It's very important for dogs to be friendly with other dogs. And figuring out if they're going to be friendly or so with a fake-looking dog that smells like dogs is important. And that's why we brought out Mr. Mackay to see how she does. Because after this video, I believe I take her outside and let her run around with that puppy. And then from then, they've been inseparable, but Mr. Rocky, who is the name of that husky, he was actually adopted out yesterday and is with his forever home now, his forever family, which is very exciting. But it was very cool to see Miss Maggie be able to interact with him. So this session will be done in a couple minutes. There's not a whole lot more to sort of narrate. A lot of what you're seeing can be taken for face value, what I'm doing, which is good. Maggie is a wonderful little dog who has some quirks, but overall is a really sweet dog who, is just small. And it's understandable when you're that small to be that scared over things. So that being said, the rest of this video would most likely be mute because there's not a whole lot to that, for me to narrate, because she is now, done with her session. It was really good being able to see this happen, especially in real time, and be able to document it so that, other people can see that this stuff doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't even happen over a week period. Sometimes it doesn't even happen over a 2-week period. Sometimes it takes these dogs 3 to 4 weeks to fully open up and get them to where we want to. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll be back for more soon.